Hi everybody, this is Brazy. Welcome to a Speak Your Truth video blog. What the hell is eating Torah Bright? She's got the whole world at her feet, right? She's literally the defending gold medalist in the women's halfpipe. She's Australian. She grew up in Cowra in New South Wales. Everything must be going well from her. She's sponsored by Quicksilver. She's even got her own clothes that don't get wet in the snow and all this sort of business, right? But she's got this crazy look on her face. You know, she looks like she's saying, yeah, I didn't mind not winning, but I am going to come to your house and I'm going to boil a rabbit on your stove. She's got that smile that's not exactly all there, you know. She's a bit twisted. And it turns out that she's not a real happy chappy. In fact, she actually told parents just before the Olympics in Sydney of other Olympians that she was planning on criticising the Russian Olympics in Russia any chance she got. One parent said every time they put a microphone in front of her face, she was going to be doing some criticism. This is all very peculiar.
Well, it was certainly an unexpected salvo from the golden girl of Australia's Winter Olympics team. Torah Bright and her coach and brother Ben Bright were at a press conference today when they launched a series of criticisms about the facilities here at Sochi, saying buildings that they had seen were unfinished, that they'd had reports that tap water was brown, dirty, undrinkable. But then the pair went much further, raising concerns about the safety of one of the key snowboard venues here in Sochi, up in the mountains, the slopestyle snowboard venue, suggesting that the construction wasn't the best.
When we put our lives and our bodies on the line too, you want things built very well and as safe as they can be. Big jumps can be built very well and safely.
Now, the two admitted they hadn't actually seen the venue.
In fact, she was talking down the Russian Sochi Winter Olympics in November last year by saying that Putin didn't know what he was doing and that he was spending too much money on the Olympics, which is absolutely bizarre because I don't think she's an economist. And she also threatened not to attend. In fact, she was the first one that threatened not to attend after the suicide bombers did their bombing hundreds and hundreds of miles away from actually where Sochi was going to be held, where the Olympics is going to be held right now. So she really is having a really strategically planned attack on Russia, on Putin, and of course on the Olympic Committee over there at the moment. And it's gone right up until yesterday where her own brother was swearing and carrying on and saying the halfpipe was dangerous, and her mother actually came out yesterday saying that Putin himself should go, or maybe not himself, but he should get the entire halfpipe redesigned and rebuilt because it's just not up to standard. So it's this whole, anti-Putin, anti-Russia propaganda that she's been pushing now on all different levels for a very long time. So my question is, of course, what the hell is eating Torah Bright? And then I had a bit of a look into her history, and it turns out Torah Bright grew up a Mormon.
Hi, I'm Torah Bright and I'm a Mormon.
She belongs to the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints in Cowra. Of course, she doesn't drink, she doesn't smoke, she doesn't partake in any tea or coffee, etc., etc. And then it turns out that in late 2012, the pro-Putin youths, they held a little protest saying that calling the Mormon Church a cult as it started to spring up in Russia leading up to the Olympics, of course. It's grown to about 22,000 people now, and saying that's an authoritarian sect, and it's not a religion at all. And in fact, it's linked to the FBI and the CIA with a lot of connections between those organizations. So the Mormon Church isn't a big fan, of course, of Russia.
The Russian parliament, the State Duma, is considering a draft amendment to the law to protect people from predatory and missionary religious cults.
This draft defines what is correct missionary activities. For example, it forbids to be engaged in missionary activity on the territory of some other faith, of some other religious organization. It forbids to be engaged in missionary activity in places where people would be more susceptible, like, for example, in hospitals, in mental institutions, in the army, for example.
But opponents of the bill say it's nothing more than religious persecution. The Jehovah's Witness faith is banned in 3 regions of Russia already. They, like other groups such as the Mormons, the Unification Church, or Moonies, and the Church of Scientology, say there's no need for a law change.
It gets even worse. Mitt Romney, the gentleman who was trying to become President of the United States at the last election, he actually called, who's a Mormon himself, of course, he actually called Russia the #1 geopolitical foe. So the plot starts to thicken. Then, of course, Putin had accused some religious groups as being totalitarian activities. In fact, they were springing up like mushrooms, and they were forcing people to actually live underground, and of course had links to these FBI and the CIA, and the Mormon Church, of course, was one of these. In fact, Putin came out and said that they were doing, the Mormon Church that is, were doing rituals, had hideouts, and were making it very hard for people to actually know what they were doing and what was actually going on within his country. So I think the thing that is actually really eating Torah Bright and maybe affecting her performance over there in the Sochi Winter Olympics is the fact that, I don't know whether she's brainwashed by the Mormon Church or whether she is she's their speaker. I don't know whether she speaks on behalf of the Mormon Church or whether she's their propaganda machine because she's the golden girl. Her name, in fact, is Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Bible, and she's meant to be the golden message, as her mother actually named her. I think this is all getting a bit dark. I think Torah Bright should be called Torah Dark. I think she should stop trying to spread her Mormon propaganda and stop trying to put Russia down, because we need to build bridges, right? We need to try to understand each other and love each other, and I think it's going to affect her performance, and I don't think she's going to walk away. Well, we know she's not going to walk away with 3 gold medals, but I just don't think it's very Australian. This is Brazy. Love to get your opinion.